feel it in this room. Holy Spirit, move. 'Cause when you have your way, something has to break. Tear down every lie, set the wrong thing right. 'Cause when you have your way, something has to break. Something has to break. Right now in your name, something has to break. Something has to break. Hey, right now in your name, something has to break. Oh, I believe you'll get me to it. I believe you lead me through it. I believe that you will do it right now. Something has to break.
I believe in your power. I believe in our power. I believe in Black trans power.
I believe you lead me through it. I believe you get me through it. I believe you will do it right now. Something has to break. I believe you lead me through it. I believe I set my faith on it right now.
White queer folk get to worry about legislation while Black queer folk is worrying about our lives.
Something has to break. I believe you lead me. I believe. I believe you will. Something has to break. Something has to break. I believe you lead me. I believe something's gonna give. You've been worrying about it.
Today, I am saying, if you have an organization that has no Black trans leadership, if you have an organization that has no specific Black trans programming or funding, you are obsolete. If you are not serving Black and brown trans folks, if you're not serving the incarcerated and our sex workers and our detained, you are obsolete.
Something has to break. It's happening right now, right where you are. Something has to break. Put your faith on it. Lift your hands and receive it. Something has to break. Healing is on the way to your house. As a matter of fact, it's here right now. Something has to break. Miracle signs and wonders. Something has to break. I speak peace in this room. I speak rest in this room. He shall take my yoke and ease it. Something has. You can whatsoever you say. Open up your mouth right now and receive it. Something has. It's gotta break right now. It's gotta break right now. It's gotta break right now. Break right now. Doesn't matter what it is. You've been praying for a long time. You've been waiting for a long time. Waiting for a long time.
I am feeling sadness and mourning for all those souls we lost, but I know the spirit of Marsha and Sylvia, and the spirit of Remy and Raya, and the spirit of Tony, and the spirit of our dear sister Laylene, and the reckoning is here. We might be silent today, but tomorrow Y'all gonna say it with me again? I believe in my power. I believe in your power. I believe in our power. I believe in black trans power. And so let today be the last day that you ever doubt black trans power.
I love you. Thank you all so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for engaging. But I guess the few things that I want to say before I pass this mic off is that, one, we all know that the history of our community is struggle, but people like Marsha P. Johnson, people like Tourmaline, people within our community, amazing black trans women, like Cayenne Doroshow, like Raquel Willis, like Sheer Avery. When I tell you, it is so important to find joy, and if you are not a black trans person, baby, you can give me some joy, okay? Spend your money on black trans people. Give your money to black trans people. It is not just something nice to do, it is your responsibility. Because every day, we have the ability to walk and support black trans power. Can everybody say, I have power? Say it like you have power. I have power.
I have power.
We have the power to make sure that black trans people are employed. Am I right?
Right.
We have the power to make sure that black trans people have cars home and not catching the subway. Am I right?
Right.
And especially on a day like today with Juneteenth, liberation does not come without honesty and communication. And I want to just personally thank you, Tourmaline, because you have helped to not only educate people about Marsha P. Johnson, but solidify her legacy even more. Thank you for giving so many people a book to find, a black trans woman on a microphone. Thank you for everything that you have done. Because of people like you, because of black trans women just like you, I can look at all of the queer and trans young people that I see nowadays, and I know they have far more doors opened and opportunities because of you. So thank you for taking your time and your energy to uplifting all of your community, and by doing that, uplifting everybody else in this room. So thank you, I love you. And everybody, make some noise for motherfucking Tourmaline. I love you so much. And now I get to pass the mic off to two iconic-ass individuals. Please make some noise for Rio and Lila.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. We already seen the beautiful performance by Junior Mint. We have a really beautiful program for you tonight, and I'm really excited to share this moment with Rio.
Yes, thank you all so much. And so I'm Rio. I'm co-executive director at Queer Art. Thank you so much, Poetry Project, for having us. Thank you, Leela, for co-curating this beautiful, beautiful event with us. I want to just highlight, in the spirit of everything that Junior Mint was saying, all of the proceeds tonight will be going directly towards more black trans programming and getting more black trans artists paid, okay? So please give generously. We are gonna have some copies of Marsha, 12. They're at the bookstore if you know. But we all have 12 that are for donation, and so please give generously and be courteous to the people you might be fighting with for those copies. The proceeds of that will also be going towards making more programming happen like this, okay? Leela, do you have any words about what we're gonna experience tonight? Even if it's just literally who's up next and then next and next.
I'm sorry, y'all. Junior Mint is a really hard person to follow.
Oh, yeah.
So next up, we have Zora.
It's Zora. Yeah. So it's Zora. It's Zora after me, right?
Actually, next up, we have Zora with a reading.
That's right.
Everyone give Zora a round of applause.
Perfect.
Hi. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'm going to start off with a poem by John Keane called Blackness. When I begin a poem, I often do so because I love black people. When I choose not to write a poem, I still love black people. If I write I love black people, it's because I love black people. If I don't write I love black people, I still love black people. Every metaphor, every simile is rooted in the fact that I love black people. Even if I forgo figurative language altogether, I still love black people. Whenever I start an essay or a short story or a novel, I can feel all the way to the very bottom of my soul that I love black people. Those times when I stare at the blank white screen or page, I may despair that I cannot show or testify how much I love black people and want other black people and all people to love black people. But it is enough to know deep in my soul and heart how much I love black people and to say and urge others to say publicly that they love black people, which is to say I have learned to love myself and to love black people, and to recognize that despite all that we face in the world, from the moment of our birth to the day we die, that even the black period that will end this poem is a sign and seal to me and anyone who cares that I love black people. There was once a femme queen named Ventusa. She often felt like she was being molded by the wind, a tedious scratching. Slowly, each gust carried her sediment up over her head and into the air in front of her. A grain of left shoulder, a strand of her dark coily hair, a piece of her cochlea, a fingernail. Every so often, a deep aching would overcome her. She missed the old parts of herself. In many ways, things were much simpler, whether that be a factor of time or her ability to distract herself from her own voice, a voice much deeper and more gruff than, with the sound of a moaning man in her ear, the smell of his pits tingling her nose hairs or weighing down her eyelids. She would often look back on those days when Dick, here the word Dick is a substitute for the word love, was easier to catch. It was the simplicity of it which gave it no significance and therefore became something she could enjoy. For Ventusa, there was no real effort required to be a man who once met other men. She missed a life of easy comfort. But a glutton for pain, she chose the life of a femme queen, and a femme queen must be molded. Ventusa watched with intent as slivers of herself gradually dispersed and vanished from sight. Collecting the displaced parts of her by the billions was neither possible nor worth the endeavor, so she would have to map out where each granular piece belonged and attempt to put them back exactly where she remembered, remolding herself into a monstrosity she would not recognize and could never accept. No, she would rather let nature run its course, and patiently a shape of herself, magnificent and sensuous and never before seen, would be unveiled. Wind is the best surgeon. She hoped it would redistribute the areas around her waist and hips and thighs and gently buff the harder parts of her face. Maybe the wind would sculpt her body into a body similar to that one doll she keyed with that basement, who stole her trade right from under her nose. Actually, the word stole is inaccurate and too harsh. What really happened was Trade just saw the other doll, stopped kissing Ventusa on the spot, and forced his way to the opposite side of the crowd and pushed his tongue directly down the prettier doll's mouth. Ventusa learned an important lesson in femme queenage that day. Trade knows more than Trade lets on. Trade knows the tea and wants it. There is no Trade to be found at basement. Please, Lord, give her a new desire that will solve her weakness for rough flesh, make her blood molasses thick. She needs to be changed, deeply and slowly, and hard, carved by the wind. For Ventusa, desire was a personal power. What she wanted was always what she got, except when what she wanted turned into something else. She had the ability to will most objects of her desire into her atmosphere. If she wanted a new dress, she would find a dress that every woman would covet. If she wanted alone time, she could enter a void like ether where no one and nothing existed but herself and the timescape she created. If she wanted it to rain, it would pour. Once, she was so depressed, the sky cried for 4 days straight, just so she could lay in bed and weep along with it, as the gentle patter of raindrops against her window lulled her in and out of sleep. Her bedroom cast in a sparse, dusky glow. At night, the white blaze of lightning, like a strobe, her midnights were drenched in tears. She so desperately wanted to be free from the self-flagellation, the humiliation of loving men. She prayed for an answer, a potion, an emollient, a reckoning, or the gift of long-suffering. What she wanted, she would get. 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 What she wanted, she would. Sister one, girl, I'm gonna need you to take a breath. In the group chat now, Ventusa unleashes her chaotic, progesterone-induced feelings without fear. Ventusa. The way this cute trans boy who I had a sickening moment with on the dance floor at Now, he's literally right before my flight, just texted me to say that he and his partner are closing their relationship for the time being. I gotta get the hell out of Bushwick. Sister 2, I miss the South Child. Ventusa, I'm like a 7 in Bushwick and a 14 in Chattanooga. Why were niggas tipping their hats to me talking about, good evening, ma'am? Wait, is ma'am a clock? Sister 3, nah, the ma'am is giving real. Sister 4, what blockers are y'all on, Spiro? Sister 5, I just started taking mine again. The brick demons started attacking me. Sister 5, I haven't been on blockers in a while because my T's been staying low enough, though I'm curious enough to see if it spiked when I go to the doctor in a couple weeks because I've been feeling a little different. Sister 4, it may be time for me again. Low-key want to kill my libido, at least temporarily. Sister 2, if I think about another dick, I may have to kill myself. Ventusa, being a doll is so hard. I know people know it's hard, but do they actually understand the mental fortitude and spiritual strength it takes to maintain yourself at any given moment? Sister 2, dating men as a femme queen is quite literally a humiliation ritual. Sister 4, when I'm feeling depressed about being a doll, y'all, I remind myself I'm this way to make the world a better place, which is gay as hell and doesn't really always work. I wish I could just be like someone else do it, but I can't imagine being any other way. I'm thankful for the way it shifted my brain, the way I interact with people, the world in general, and the way I interact with people and the world in general. And I'm eternally so grateful for being able to develop the relationships I have with y'all. It's really special. Sister 4, of course I wish I was more openly, regularly fuckable, but whatever, that's why we're getting back on blockers. Ventusa, why Trey just sent me a dick pic saying he missed me, and I'm like, oh, bae, wanna come over? And now it's crickets. Sister 5, I hope every trade and man that plays any of us becomes their mother's karmic debt. Ventusa, I don't know, it's crazy being told that I'm T in every way, except in the way that the world upholds as the most lauded form of value. Sister 1, and at the same time terrorized and treated like a farm animal for our sex. Ventusa, how am I supposed to reckon with all of this logically? Sister 2, loved and loathed in the same respect is so crazy. Sister 1, the equation is literally meant to destroy us, sis. Sister 3, I swear it will come for all of us. We just have to remain open to whatever form it comes and not let the struggle we go through harden us too much and not accept the pickle juice. And until that time comes, my sisters will hold me up. Sisterhood as magic, sisterhood as method. Transfigurations reconstruct her gelatinous porous form into pure ecstasy. Now she is in stasis. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Sisterhood, sisterhood, sisterhood. A state of universal translatability. A doll's pain can be read in every language, but will inevitably be remolded into something non-specific and non-threatening. Something soft and stale with a flimsy outer layer. She's a hard-boiled egg. You know she must win her right to be treated with tenderness. You know she must go to mystifying lengths to earn, gain, and inherit such a tender gift as the opposite of pain. Like rob, kill, lie, or tell the entire truth. There is no amount of estrogen, spironolactone, progesterone, or Wellbutrin currently sold to psychiatrists by Mama Pharma prescribed in dizzying blessed proportions to the gender-fucked masses that could possibly prepare a wistful transsexual for the tidal wave of fervor that will drown her when that one man, sent from heaven but residing in hell, finally notices her. The idea that she transitioned to assuage some divine calling or to rearrange oppressive political and social constructs is incomplete. One has perhaps thousands of reasons to re/unwire their chemical and physical makeups, though only one reason would suffice: desire. She wants to get fucked, remolded by dick. She wants to be the receiver and the giver. She wants to give by the way of opening. Her gender, like yours, is sex or the lack thereof. Desire is the only justification necessary. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Zora Jade Curie, everybody. Y'all, are we having a good time? Okay, good. I was so worried. Great. So for the next portion of the evening, and really the rest of the evening, we're gonna be getting a whole lot of tourmaline and a whole lot of Egyptt LaBeija, y'all. Egyptt LaBeija, the legendary Egyptt LaBeija, who it's been so beautiful to see tourmaline and Egypt's relationship and their collaborations through the beauty of Tourmaline's films. If you've seen Atlantic as a Sea of Bones, that is if you haven't, it's a must watch. It is, so much of it is starring Egyptt LaBeija. She also has a really beautiful cameo in Happy Birthday Marsha, which we just saw yesterday at IFC. So beautiful. So we're gonna get to see a performance from Egyptt. Then we're gonna get to hear Tourmaline read a portion of Marsha. We'll see them in conversation, and then we'll have a special closing performance. What could it be? All right, so without further ado, give it up for Egyptt LaBeija.
What we need is a party in this place. We need to turn up the heat, honey. We want to rock this place. Are turn it up another notch? I said, are you ready to turn it up another notch? Come on, come on. Las manos arriba. Loco, loco, loco. Arriba. Run to the door, jump up on the floor. People, party people, come on and work the floor. I know what you're living for. People, party people, come on and work the floor. Run to the door, jump up on the floor. People, party people, come on and work the floor. I know what you're living for. People, party people, come on and work the floor. Oh yeah. It's hot up in here. It's going to get ugly in a minute. 'Cause these children ain't playing. Put your body to it. Put your hips to it. Put your shoulder to it. Put your leg to it. Put your body to it. Put your hips to it. Put your shoulder to it. Put your leg to it. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Let me see you work it. Say it. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Come on and sweat. Everybody in the house, I want to see you work up a sweat. If the person next to you don't have a sweat, hit the door. Run to the door, jump up on the floor. People, party people, come on and work the floor. I know what you're living for. People, party people, come on and work the floor. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Let me see you work it. Say it. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Let me see you sweat. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Let me see you work it. Say it. Hip shaking, body quick and booty's pumping. Let me see you sweat. Come on, loco, loco, loco.
Everybody give it up for Egyptt LaBeija! Woo!
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing. See, it ain't easy doing this. Y'all think it's easy. Put these heels on, you jump up here and try it. And you realize, I'm 61 years old, and this ain't easy. But I ain't gonna stop until I can't walk. And then I might just put a wheelchair on stage. You guys having a good time so far? I like this crowd. They're loud. See, when you're loud, that means you're paying attention. Are you guys ready to hear something amazing? This side don't say nothing. Are you guys ready to hear something amazing? Now let's do it in unison. Are you guys ready to hear something amazing? That's better. So let me tell you, I met this woman. I'm not going to tell how many years ago it was, but it was a long, long, long time ago. And she was just awesome. because we both work for nonprofit organizations. And then she left, and she went to pursue something else. Little did I know what she was producing included me. She asked me to be in a film called Happy Birthday, Marsha. I said, sure. Didn't know what it was about, nothing. But then when I saw it, I started crying. Then she asked me to do something called Atlantic at the Sea of Bones. How many people, by show of hands, have seen Atlantic at the Sea of Bones? Okay. By show of hands, how many people have not seen Atlantic at the Sea of Bones?
Wow. Run it.
Do you remember that part in the song that says, if they don't have a sway, hit the door? You gotta read the book, you gotta see the film, hit the door. But if you have not, type it in your phone, get your phones out and type it in. Atlantic is the Sea of Bones. I don't see nobody's phone. Huh? Oh yes, thank you so much. I have to wet my palate. Anyway, she's done some amazing things. And then when she wrote this book. Please get the book if you don't have it yet, because it tells the true, real story about Marsha P. Johnson. You might have heard little things about her, this and that. Most of it was not true. I'm not gonna lie. Because some people make things up because they don't know. I knew her. And we'll talk about that later. But without further ado, I'm not going to talk on that. Please, and when I say I want to be down the block around the corner to hear what y'all about to make the noise you're going to hear when I say this, please welcome Tourmaline.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Egyptt LaBeija. I'm going to say it was about 20 years ago. We were working in Queers for Economic Justice, the Welfare Warriors. Exactly. We got some former QEJ members here. And Egyptt LaBeija entered my life and changed it, right? She reminded me, just like Marsha reminds so many of us, of our beauty and our power, and that the world doesn't get to say how we feel about us, right? No Supreme Court ruling gets to determine how we feel about ourselves as a community. And so, yes, exactly. So the process of writing Marsha has been a 20-year process. A couple weeks ago, I went over to Al Michaels, Marsha's beautiful nephew, and Jeannie Michaels, Marsha's sister, and Bob Michaels, Marsha's brother, and we were sitting around the kitchen table. I met Al and Jeannie about 15 years ago when I started, writing and sharing and teaching in about Marsha. And we were remarking about how much her legacy has come alive in the past 20 plus years. How you can't go outside during Pride and see a joyful image of Marsha adorned with flowers in her hair, and how powerful it is to calibrate to someone like Marsha. And what do I mean by calibrate? Well, Marsha moved to New York City when she was 18 from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and she hit Times Square. She was a waitress at Child's Restaurant, and she met a 13-year-old Sylvia Rivera, right, who was left her home at 11. And she immediately started mothering her community. So she would rent these hourly hotels. She used to call them hot spring hotels, because whether it was winter, spring, summer, or fall, you couldn't open a window, and it was intense. It was like this room, but more. And in those spaces, she started to dream. She asked her sisters and her siblings to dream, because as soon as they left those hotels, they were immediately met by the harsh conditions of the world that would arrest them and put them in jail just for fully expressing their truth as trans and gender nonconforming people. In those spaces, they asked each other to dream. They asked each other to use the harsh conditions outside simply as launching pads, as fuel to imagine a world that they truly deserved, a world that reflected their power and their beauty. They freedom dreamed in the sense of Robin D.G. Kelley. They freedom dreamed. They didn't need it to immediately come true, that right given moment. They let themselves rest, have safety and sanctuary and dream. And then they knew in their place of powerless, they had relief in the dream. Just a little while later, they also knew when you're feeling really powerless, it can be an incredible thing to reach for rage and righteous anger. That's what Stonewall was about. It was a turning over the table against a world, a police, a government that was trying to dictate how our community feels about ourselves by laws, by arrests, by jails. So they knew it was important to have relief through dreaming, through rage, through revenge. 1 year later, they took over New York University. In that basement of Weinstein Hall, they dreamed again, and they started talking about gender-affirming care alongside free childcare. One of the most powerful interviews of Marsha P. Johnson is in 1970 with gender joy and euphoria coming through her voice, talking about being on estrogen and how her breasts were now a handful, a beautiful handful, a lovely handful, but a small handful. And she knew that she could move in the direction of those dreams throughout the entire course of her life, and that's what she did. So to me, writing this book and learning about Marsha and meeting her loved ones and receiving this message over 2 decades has been simply a gift, and I'm so blessed to be able to share it with the world now. The book starts off with Egyptt LaBeija's words. The very first words in the book are Egypt's, so I'm going to read that. Okay, thank you.
Maybe you don't need the 2 mics. Yeah.
So, is this on? Okay. So the book starts off saying, the times of the village, from 14th Street to Christopher Street, the memories, people should never forget where they came from. And that's Egyptt LaBeija and Atlantic is a Sea of Bones, a film that everyone's going to go home and watch tonight because Egypt said we should. The second words that open the book are from my chosen mother, Miss Major, as she wrote in Dear Glamour Girls. With all the negative attitudes and anti-us people in the world, we need to remember that we are unique. We are wonderful. We are the creative souls of humankind. So that is Marsha's opening. And tonight, I'm going to read from the performance chapter because while we know so much about Marsha's role as a leader in the Stonewall Uprising, reaching for rage as relief from a feeling of powerlessness, Marsha was a true performer, doing 2 performances a day with the off-Broadway troops, the Hot Peaches and the Angels of Light. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking tonight in this performance space about Marsha, the performer. Start the show! Start the show! Marsha heard the audience chanting outside the Jane Hotel, home of Theater for the New City. It was the winter of 1972, and the Angels of Light, with their cult-like following, had come a long way from their loft on 4th Street in the East Village. That was before they had their secret weapon, Miss Marsha P. Johnson. Back then, there were no stage lights, just the 9-year-old Mary Lou Harris who told the audience to close their eyes to imagine a blackout. Marsha always kept her eyes open. Anyone could perform in Angels of Light shows in New York as long as they showed up to rehearsals. But Marsha couldn't be confined by such rules. So one day she wandered into an Angels of Light show mid-performance and jumped on stage to great effect. The angels clamored for her to return. As their performances grew, the Angels of Light added stage lights and dazzling light design, queuing up the lights for each new character in a scene. In the winter of 1972, Marsha was cheered by the audience's chants and was prepared to take the stage for The Enchanted Miracle at Theater for the New City. She had to run all the way to the theater in full makeup and costume, dressed as an old queen in a distant land. Cars slammed on their brakes, nearly getting into accidents as drivers gaped at her and the rest of the cast as they stampeded through the West Village streets. Her eyes were adorned with flower-shaped rhinestones, and tears ran down her face, landing on her bright crimson lips. It was nearly impossible to see through all the heavy, shimmery eye makeup. The glitter beards of her fellow angels sparkled like entire galaxies through her tears. This dazzling vision fit the theme of the upcoming performance, as the play centered on a comet passing overhead. Marsha was a star girly through and through. The audience was filled with stars too: Stevie Wonder, David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, Shirley Clark, John Lennon, Yoko Ono, all basked in Marsha and the Angels of Light shows. The theater was so packed that the audience spilled onto stage. "Places, everyone!" Hibiscus yelled as the entire cast poured into the theater. The house lights went dark and the enchanted miracle began. Angel Jack designed the stage as one giant storybook. A page would turn before each new scene started. The show began on its opening pages with a soothing sunrise song. The cast, dressed in golden billowy costumes, transformed themselves into dancing sunbeams. "Well, hello, Miss Sylvia." Marsha spotted Sylvia beaming at her from the crowd, and she quickly called out to her. The audience cheered, and Marsha loved it. So she started talking to other people in the audience too, even if she didn't know them. "Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen." She kept going further and further off script, working the audience into a frenzied call and response segment that none of the angels have dreamed of, let alone seen before. Marsha loved to steal the show. This was quite a feat amid the glitter beards and celestial makeup and majestic angels, but Marsha did it night after night. She was fantastic, Sylvia recalled 7 years later. She's talking to this beautiful woman and starts singing. Her so-called lover is gonna leave her for a more beautiful woman. They're fighting over this man and she's pushing this queen away and the house is coming down. Sylvia Rivera described Marsha in the heat of battle, yelling and stomping and screaming. I went to see that play 4 times in a row just to see her do this number. And the way the lights were shining on her face, like she was really putting in everything she had. Get away! Get away from my man! She was fantastic. Whenever she performed, Marsha would get standing ovations as soon as she walked on stage. This instant level of adulation followed her through 20 years of theater. Hibiscus even stopped giving Marsha lines or dance numbers because her very presence achieved more than most thoughtful dialogue or choreographed routine could. Hibiscus knew theatrical genius when he saw it. A core part of Marsha's artistic practice, whether on stage or on the street, was to bring beauty and joy to a bright and everyday place. This so often meant she interacted with people who had never met anyone like her, not that there was anyone like her. A few days before being profiled by the journalist Steve Watson, Marsha wandered through the main floor of Lord & Taylor department store in Manhattan's Fifth Avenue in Midtown. She floated from makeup booth to makeup booth like a pollinator going from flower to flower, taking out her pocket mirror to admire herself and trying on whichever lipstick, eyeshadow, blushes spoke to her and her fresh new desire. "I got this thing where I go to different department stores and paint my face," Marsha recounted to Steve. Steve, meanwhile, was caught completely off guard by the bold act of Marsha going uptown, where street queens were not welcome. He peppered Marsha with questions like, "You went to Lord & Taylor? What are some of the stores you go to?" Depending on her mood, Marsha's beauty's looks ranged from turned down to turned very up and everywhere in between. Well, she wasn't wearing makeup on the day that she was being interviewed by Steven. She said, "I'm feeling today like a moody type gay." Well, sometimes when I want to paint my face, I feel very flamboyant. And then other times, like today, I just don't care. I wonder if some of us can relate to that, right? Augusto Machado, who I've been able to become friends with through this project and knew Marsha very, very well, described these outings. We were in semi-drag, you know, it's sort of vague, and she said, different counters have different things, and there's always sample stations on other counters. And Augusto recalled Marsha saying, "Oh no, that color isn't quite right," or "Your cheekbones look good." And believe it or not, Augusto remembered, they had sample lipstick then, and you just put it on and you really got to feel so nicely. For Augusto and the other street queens that Marsha brought to the department stores uptown, makeup was only the surface of the education she was offering. The real lesson Marsha taught was self-actualization, confidence building, and being fully comfortable in who you are. Marsha would confidently lead the girlies from booth to paint their faces. They always left feeling like stars. The makeup acted as an incantation, helping to focus their energy so that they felt powerful and free. As they strolled down 8th Avenue back to the village, more often than not, they received attention and adoration and matched their stardom. They'd blow kisses to their fans. And I'm going to read one last part from this about Marsha's LA life. So Marsha, over the course of 3 decades, went to LA to become a Hollywood actress. And while it didn't happen yet, her life, she knew, started before she entered her physical body, and she knew would continue well after she left her physical body. She called that just crossing the River Jordan, that she would be back, that there was no end of her life. It only got more. So look out. Augusto recalled Marsha had fully adjusted to the LA lifestyle. She knew she looked good even with the sequin vest and bare chest and cut-off jeans. She knew how to strike style. Marsha's expansive LA excursions didn't surprise Augusto at all. When they had fewer means to leave the city, Augusto and Marsha would pretend to get out of town together. Imagining they were taking a cruise to a faraway land, they'd take the subway to South Ferry at the bottom of Manhattan, board the ferry to Staten Island, and sit and watch Manhattan's iconic ferry skyline disappear in the background. The fading Empire State Building caused the two to experience relief in a powerful way, feeling lighter and freer immediately. They'd run around the ferry and say "au revoir" to the Statue of Liberty. Then they disembark on Staten Island. "I guess vacation's over, Augusto. Let's get back to the city and make some money," Marsha would say as the two would reboard the ferry to Manhattan. Whenever she was back in New York from LA over the course of the late 70s and 80s, Marsha returned to the Hot Peaches stage for one-off performances and fundraisers. At one point, she emceed and sang "Climb Every Mountain" for the Harvest Moon Cabaret. And in 1988, she was part of Jimmy Camacho's Heat. Marsha's performance, as usual, was a showstopper. Wearing a mirrored crown and a shiny golden blouse, she took her time walking out on stage, drawing out anticipation from the audience. She knew how to bring her fans to the precipice of climax and bring them back again. While holding a big glittery card that contained the lyrics for her performance, she delivered a knockdown rendition of the poem Soul. The audience was beside itself when she started to read. Marsha could hardly get the words out. "You can count your karma if nirvana is your goal. You can shake and you can rattle. You can rock and roll. You can be a Clark Kent or a Lois or an Alice down a hole. You can be a vampire on a mountain with a heart of stone black coal. You can be a leather angel on a sleek black Harley bike or a redhead screaming faggot or a dazzling dyke. You can lock yourself in a closet in a fine mink stole, but it really doesn't matter if you ain't got soul. Augusto Machado described and distilled the power of Marsha's world-making through her art. During the 60s and 70s, Marsha would perform Spare Change in the West Village Christopher Street subway station. People from uptown who wore buttoned-up professional job suits or monochrome suits would come downtown to experience the psychedelic colors of the West Village. On some level, they were curious to see, what does a greater sense of freedom look like? People exiting the subway would immediately see Marsha, adorned in her flower crown or draped in a handmade banner or covered in glitter. She acted as a welcoming symbol to the village for all those arriving from places that demanded they turn down the volume of their lives, that they not live in full color. She offered a clear, resounding answer to the question, what does a greater sense of freedom look like? Her answer is, freedom is me. And that's an excerpt of Marsha.
All right. Can we give it up one more time for Egyptt LaBeija? Let's invite Egyptt LaBeija to the stage.
I can't breathe, y'all.
So we are just going to have a couple questions for each other, but when we met, so about 20 years ago, I remember, I know, don't tell anybody. We met organizing.
Yes.
And you were telling me about that first time that you met Marsha.
Yes.
And would you want to tell the audience what that was?
Y'all ready for a story? Yes. So, I used to see Marsha, walking down the block. She was selling her flowers. And I just ignored her. But she wasn't bothering anybody. So one day she walked up to me, she says, come here, honey. I want to give you some flowers. I said, I don't have the money for flowers. She said, I don't want your money. I want to give you some flowers. And we just had a simple conversation, how you doing, where you're from, simple stuff. At that point, I realized there's nothing wrong with her. She's just eccentric. She's not crazy, as people say she is. And every day I would see her, she would always ask me if I was hungry, and I would say, no, are you hungry? The thing is, she really did not like taking money from her trans sisters. She would give you money before she would take it from you. One day, I was walking down the block, and I seen these two young girls, and they were picking at her, and I just stopped, and I couldn't take it. And I said, do me a favor. Matter of fact, do yourself a favor. Don't bother her and leave her alone. Oh, she's crazy. I said, no. What it is you don't like my story, boo? I said, you're crazy for messing with her. If you sat down and talked to her, you'd realize she's not crazy. And you know that parade that you like going to? That's who did it. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. Like I tell a lot of people, most of the stories that you hear about Marsha P. Johnson were not true. That's why you have to get the book. Because Some people tell it she was crazy, she was this, that. She, like I said, she was not crazy. She was eccentric. She was passionate about the care of her trans sisters. She was passionate about rights for them. Between her and Sylvia Rivera, they are the ones who got that march together that we all love so much. Not the people you thought it was them. It was technically a protest. Yes, it was. It was a protest. Today they call it a march, but it was a protest. And the protest was Marsha and Sylvia saying, hell no, we don't go. Basically, that's the whole story about that.
And so just like Marsha, you, over the course of your life, have woven together art, fashion, y'all, literally, activism, performance. You've done it so seamlessly. Filmmaking. How has Marsha's legacy kind of shaped your understanding of what's possible?
Between Marsha P. Johnson, her standing up for rights, and my biological mother telling me, she told me something when I was, I think about 10 years old, and she said, and she forgot this when she told it to me, she forgot years later. She says, no matter what you do in life, don't let anyone tell you can't do something, and whatever you're gonna be the best at it. If you wanna be a bum, be the best bum in the world. But whatever you're gonna do, be the best. And when Marsha, when I got to learn who she was, it pushed me to that point. I have to reach for my best. If you tell me I can't go in that door, I'm gonna go over there and go in that door. But I'm gonna still get the same destination. You can't tell me I can't do something. Oh wait, my parents, remember my mother said, be whatever you want to be and be the best at it. My family told me I couldn't do this. Now they watch me on TV.
That's right. That's right.
And the thing is, I am my mother and father's only daughter. And my mother actually one day said to me, this is after years of me pushing her head, yes, I'm your child, I'm your daughter. She said, my God, you look just like me. You are my daughter. And she told somebody else, I have a daughter. So dealing with, and all of that came for me to be able to push myself to do what I want to do was because of Marsha. You cannot let one fall down stop you from doing you can't stop it. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. I have had doors slammed in my face for this, for that, for this, for that. And I got depressed at one point. And then someone told me, those doors were not open to you because you're not supposed to be there.
Rejection, protection.
It's protecting.
That's right.
I have guardian angels that protects me.
That's right.
And I used to get upset because I used to see all these young, new girls, they're getting all these shows and all these clubs. I'm like, why can't I get a booking like that? No, it's not that easy. They cheat. No, I'm talking. But someone told me, you have to realize, they have to work for a whole month to get what you get for one show. Because Egyptt LaBeija comes at a price. Because I am a brand. I am a brand. And it took me years to realize that I'm worth it. The teachings from Marsha P. Johnson and in her head, in her mind, body, and soul, she said to everybody, you are worth it. And like I said, she said so many things. She was nothing but positivity toward life. Like I said, if she fell, she got up. She went in and out of the hospital so many times. They knew who she was. But they knew she wasn't crazy either. But they had to take her because they brought her in. She used to go there for a vacation. And be on, okay, take me in. I need to relax for a while. But because they had to let her go because she was not crazy. She was so sound-minded that it's scary. I mean, it's scary because you actually sat down and talked to her. The stuff that came out of her mouth was the future. That's what she talked about, the future and what is going to happen. And today it's happening.
That's right. And I guess that's my last question is there a future or a dream that you are really excited about? It's so wild because I remember when we were training the welfare office back when we were organizing,
Yes.
and then we were making films together, and then you're on TV, you're performing in such a powerful way and a legendary way, and it's so beautiful to see you pave the way for our generations to come, right, and our current ones too. Is there a future or a vision for your life that you are eager to unfold that you want to tell us about?
Well, like I tell everybody, you ain't seen the last of me yet. I have.
That's right.
There are so many things I want to do. So let me just tell you, I am the one and only first black trans woman that has been featured on Vogue's website.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, I want to have my own talk show. That's my dream. I want to have my own talk show. And it's going to happen. I may be
That's
85
right.
when it happens, but it's going to happen.
That's right.
And the thing is, I see these talk shows. It's like, I can do that. I can ask those questions. I can get people to go out and get these people to work. But my talk show is about real life. When I say real life, I want talk shows where if you have a problem that you can't solve, come see me.
That's right.
I will have people help you get to where you need to go to. Whether you're homeless, you're trans, whether you're fighting with your husband, you beating your husband up, he beating you up. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, come see me, and I have people that can work on getting your problem solved. Because there's so many people out there that have problems that they don't know where to go. And I tell everybody, go see a psychiatrist and a therapist. It works.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Sure,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Egyptt LaBeija. And I think we have one more offering from you. Is
Yes,
that
one
right?
more. I was going to change, but I said, that's all right. This is enough. Y'all want to keep this on?
Yes.
Start it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce a very, very special guest, and also a hell of a nice lady, Whitney Houston. it so.